You guessed it, Stranger Things. When Milhouse is taken to the over-under, Lisa heads to the alternate dimension to investigate. And in a cute clever joke, we observe Lisa's past Tracy Ullman's self in the process.
I'm in the over-under. Yo.
As they travel across the world, they come across Uta's dead body. Now for my rules, I don't count any deaths that happen off screen way before the episode begins, which is why I didn't count Lenore in the first one and the skeletons in Treehouse 11. Now looking at poor Uta here, he does look a little decayed and obviously died way before the episode began, so for this reason I'm not adding him to the kill count. We also see Comic Book Guy being devoured by a mind flayer, which instantly explodes after doing so. It must have been all those tacos.
This should provide adequate sustenance for the Doctor Who marathon.
Carl and Lenny are also eaten. And poor old Gil is torn apart from the inside by branches. In the episode, Homer tortures 7 demogorgons, including the one that looks like Flanders.
How do you do this, Neighborino?
Next up is Heaven Swags Right. While at a football game, a vendor throws a hot dog straight down Homer's throat, choking him to death. But when reaching heaven, he's told he's there too early and so sent back in a new body. As a result, Homer can now choose any body he wants, and anyone he chooses dies as a result.
So, he's dead.
So that means this football player dies. An interesting proposition. Whose body would you pick? If you've watched up until this point, write a name in the comments to show off, and I'll give you a little heart. But literally the next day, he ruins his new body with dozens of donuts. So for his next body, he chooses Super Nintendo Chalmers. But when he opens his paycheck, he has a heart attack at the low salary. Maggie.
I'm very thirsty. Ew.
In When Harry Met Slimy, Selma's love life takes a new green turn, falling in the arms or tentacles of Kang. While the two of them are getting on, the creature from the shape of water rises up, but they end up cooking him instead. Selma and Homer help the alien to escape, but when they're stopped by Mr. Burns and Smithers, Kang pops up and bites off Smithers' head. The army are then on pursuit, with Mr. Burns demanding to shoot the driver, and the dum-dum shoots their driver instead.
Not my driver.
Kodos meets them on top of Mount Springfield, ready to take them away back to their world. But before they can flee in a spaceship, Selma is shot by the military. So Kang pulls out his Infinity Gauntlet, turning 28 soldiers into dust. Also, there is no way to tell how many soldiers were in the tanks, but most modern tanks have 4-man crews. So with 5 tanks, let's add on an extra 20 kills. He then kills Mr. Burns with an empty trash can. After this, Kang brings Selma back to life, and last time I deducted her death from the kill count, and many of you said it should have stayed. So seeing as she did technically die, this time I am keeping it, just for you. Ending Treehouse of Horror 30 with 73 kills. Treehouse of Horror 31. The town of Springfield are voting for their next president, and so Marge calls up Homer to tell him he has to vote, and instead Homer decides to take a nap. In his dream, he is shown a list of every deplorable thing President Trump has done. When he wakes up, Marge scorns him for not voting, so Homer brushes it off by saying, "How bad can it be?" Well, quite bad actually, as America is now an apocalyptic hellhole. A Homeland Security robot then kicks Norman, sending him flying.
Oh, that's what I get for voting for Kanye.
You know.
Now there is an interesting fact about this episode. Initially, when first animated, it did not include the characters wearing masks, However, to reflect on the pandemic, showrunner Al Jean asked the director to have every character except Homer wearing a mask. We then go into our first segment, Toy Gory. By the way, I have to say, I love the CG animation in this episode. It looks so good. Bart is choosing which toy to donate, but before doing so, he decides to torture them first. And if you thought Toy Story Sid was bad, you haven't seen the cruel and unusual punishment Bart dealt out. Bart is given a brand new radioactive man doll, but when he talks to the other toys, he finds out he's not in safe hands. And he's absolutely right, as Bart does a Sergeant Sausage and throws Radioactive Man into a microwave where he blows up. In revenge for their fallen comrade, the other toys kidnap Bart and make him into a toy. They tear out his insides and replace it with Tinker Toys. And now he's completely brain dead.
Is complete.
Into the Homerverse, Homer accidentally brings